Hi, my favorite people. Haven't seen you guys in a while. I just wanted to catch up with you guys today, and I am going to be smoking a beef rib, but a quick update before I go and do all of that and walk you guys through this. This is the first day that I have had with full sunshine in my area. A couple days ago in my neck of the woods, about 10 minutes north of me, a tornado hit all the neighborhoods up, and trees are uprooted, houses are damaged, really not a good situation in my area. Thankfully, my neighborhood was spared, so I'm very thankful for that, and I hope the best for everyone else. But this is the first full sunshine day that we have had in several weeks, basically since my basement flooded, and you guys saw that video. We've had rain every single day since that video and a couple days before that video. So everything is still wet, and I plan to get some spring cleaning done, even though it is technically summer. But I'm also going to enjoy smoking my beef rib and doing it that way. So as you guys can see in front of me here, I do have a beef rib. I did get this at my local butcher shop. So I can't find this in my typical grocery store. I don't know if you guys can, but if you can't, go to your local butcher shop and they will have it there. I did remove the full membrane off of the bone side, and then I just injected it along the bone, and I injected it with this mixture here. So what I did with this mixture is I did 8 ounces of orange juice, 8 ounces of apple juice, 8 ounces of beef broth, and then I sprinkled in my favorite seasoning. And I choose to do the apple juice and the orange juice that don't have any added sugars. They're more the natural based. I don't like any type of sugars and preservatives, so I'll just take the natural sugars. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use the same base that I had, or broth that I had mixed, and I'm going to inject that on the top side as well. I have a personal preference where I like to keep the fat on top of the beef. I think that it adds more flavor. I think that some people can argue that. It's just my personal preference. You can also trim that off, but the main reason why you want to trim the membrane off of the bone side is because it will also give more flavor and add more smoke into the actual meat itself, where it normally would protect from the smoke getting into the meat. With the mixture that I've created, the acidity is going to break down the fats within the meat. And we have a little squirter here. You want to kind of pull back as you're injecting so that it's getting all of the different layers of the meat. And I'm also going to save this for later because I'm going to use my mop brush throughout the process, and I'm going to mop this on top. Let's finish getting this injected. Looking pretty good. You will see the meat kind of puff up as you inject. And I'm also going to inject about, I would say about 3.5 hours in. So I'm going to put this on the Traeger today at 225, and I'm going to let it sit for about 3 hours until it hits roughly a temperature about 160, 165. Once it hits that temperature, I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to wrap it in butcher paper, and then I'm going to put it back on until it hits about 205, 210. The butcher paper you can order online. I realized in my local grocery store you can't order it, so I actually went to the meat counter and asked for a piece of butcher paper. They did give it to me for free, however they weren't very nice about it, so I don't know if you want to just order it and have it on hand. I've never used it up until this point, so I didn't realize that it was not something that you couldn't purchase. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mop brush, and I've gone ahead and I've prepared my layer of it just helps soak in all of the seasoning. So I like personally mayonnaise and mustard. I've seen other ways where you can do it with just mayonnaise. I've seen other ways where you can do it with mustard. I like the mixture of the two. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to just go ahead and baste this. And you guys have seen me do this before, and I really like it. It creates a really nice crust, but it also adheres all of that seasoning and lets it soak in and keeping it nice and moist. So make sure you're getting all the sides here. And again, I'm going to use my favorite seasoning, and it's a Kroger brand. I don't know what other grocery stores Kroger owns, but it is just a steak rub seasoning. And I really enjoy it. Like I said, it's salt, pepper, garlicky, all of the things that I don't necessarily have to mix. I'm gonna give this a really nice little coating. Make sure it is completely covered here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some paprika on top. Gives us a beautiful color when it comes out nice and crispy. And then be careful with this one. I'm going to use some cayenne. Again, I just like a little bit of spice with mine, but you do need to be careful while using this, because if you use a little too much, it cannot be as good, depending on how you like the heat. I personally don't care for things that are super hot that I have no flavor and I can't actually taste. I like things that have a little bit of heat, but I can also taste the flavoring in those as well. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this bad boy over, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side and make sure that is nice and covered. Make sure you're getting the sides of the bones as well. So with my mustard and mayonnaise mixture, I just use equal parts. I use a little bit more mustard, I think, than I do with mayonnaise, because the vinegar, again, is going to kind of break things down. Make sure I get that side. All right, so again, going to use my seasoning and cover this side pretty good too, so that we can get that nice crust, nice flavor. Oops, missed a couple spots. And now with the paprika, the smoked paprika really adds a distinct taste. I've never really used it until I've started researching, and it really adds to the flavor. I will say that. Make sure you wipe your bottles down when you're done too, because you're touching raw meat and you've got seasoning and stuff all over your hands. All right, so this bad boy is ready to go into the smoker. I'm going to put it on for about 6 to 8 hours, roughly, depending on what the temperature is. I'm also going to be making some roasted carrots today, and I'm going to smoke some corn on the cob and have a lovely dinner. And now it's time for me to go do some chores and get some yard work done, and I'm procrastinating on that, not gonna lie. But I'm gonna go do that, and I will catch up with you guys soon and let you guys see the final results. Thanks, bye.